Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Gonzo Tonight Show. We have done the t-shirt giveaway. It's over. It's done. And I'm going to announce the winner soon. And probably by the end of the week, I've reached out to them, so they already know who it is, but I'll do a public announcement by the end of the week. If you want to buy your own t-shirt, go to teespring.com/store/gonzo tonight. teespring.com/store/gonzo tonight. And if you want to support the show, donate a coffee to buymeacoffee.com/gonzo. That will keep this show going and allow us to improve and get better. And also, I want to talk about if you are interested in starting your own podcast, be sure to check out Buzzsprout because we use Buzzsprout over here and they have been fantastic. Let me tell you, it's really easy to manage your own podcast. All you got to do is record, upload, and Buzzsprout takes care of the rest when they put it out there to the public. All you have to do is start with some gear that you have, whether it be your phone, a little microphone, find a quiet place to start recording. If you want to upgrade your gear, Buzzsprout can recommend you some great stuff that you can go and buy for a decent price. Buzzsprout will be able to get your podcast listed on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all the big names that you know and love, and places that you listen to this podcast on. They can get you featured on there as well. Really easy. They'll give you a great looking podcast website. You can customize it to your liking, and they give you detailed analytics. They tell you who's watching your podcast, where they're coming from, what they're listening to it on, and they're very passionate about helping you succeed. There's hundreds of thousands of podcasters that are using Buzzsprout right now. So go ahead, and if you want to start your own podcast, click the link below in the comments and the show notes in the YouTube description, wherever you're watching or listening. The link will get you to Buzzsprouts, and if you use that link, you will go ahead and get a $20 gift card for Amazon. So you can go ahead and maybe use that to buy yourself a microphone or something else to get your podcast started. Today, we're going to be talking about something called the Great Reset. It's been trending for a little bit now on Twitter and Instagram, mainly Twitter. And what is the Great Reset? We're going to be talking about that, what exactly is going on here, why is it trending, and then we're going to do some more election updates in the second half of the show. So if you are here for the election update, go ahead and skip to that. If you want to learn about the Great Reset, please continue to watch the first half of this video. And the Great Reset, we're going to get right into it right now. Okay. Most of you, I can imagine, are like, what the heck is this? What is the Great Reset? What is this guy talking about? And basically, it is kind of like the Build Back Better slogan. You may have seen that. I don't know if you look into this at all, but you may have noticed that when Biden is giving his speeches, there might be on his podium something that says Build Back Better. And people notice that this slogan is also used by many other world leaders around the world, specifically members of the UN, big players in the UN. So Build Back Better is kind of the globalist movement's idea of trying to push, unity, one world government. And they have been using they've been hiding under the blanket of climate change. They've been trying to use climate change to instill fear in the people that if we don't get this solved right now, we're all going to die. And that they're using climate change in order to basically start the very first world government. So it's not separate countries anymore. They want a one world government. This is what the globalists want. And the Great Reset, it's got viral because Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, he did a video mentioning the Great Reset, saying that COVID-19 and this pandemic has given us an opportunity for the Great Reset to revamp capitalism, which basically means socialism. They said they want to revamp capitalism. They're saying capitalism is unfair and that we need to make sure we control outcomes and we make sure that everyone has an equal outcome when it comes to finances. They want to make it more fair. And so they want to revamp capitalism, which basically means socialism or democratic socialism, if they want to call it. We all know that is the gateway to communism. Basically, is communism. It's just hiding under a different name. And so they're claiming that COVID and the pandemic, but COVID itself is going to have long-lasting effects on the entire world. And that we need to take advantage of this opportunity in order to revamp capitalism. We need to also prevent pandemics like this from happening once again. And they're using all this to basically promote their world government. The UN's been trying to do this for a long time. The globalists, their main goal is basically world domination, world control, one government, not separate countries. They don't want the US to be, the best country in the world. They don't want Russia or whatever. One government where all these people at the top are in control of everything that goes on. And this stuff is all going on behind the scenes. There's a lot that's been going on that we don't see. Leaders like, I wouldn't call them leaders, but higher ups like, of course, Barack Obama, Joe Biden here in America, Hillary Clinton, Justin Trudeau from Canada, Meghan Merkel from Germany, all these big UN players, these big UN faces, so to say, they want to be in control of everything, not just their own country, but they want to be in control. And they've been trying to find a reason to get everyone united under this one world government idea. The only problem is, and this is why it was so crucial to get Joe Biden elected, this was at least part of the reason. And the problem is that, especially right now, Americans are very much divided on issues like this. We have, Republican and Democrat, left and right. And generally speaking, the right is opposed to a world government. They're not about it. They take pride in their country. They take pride in their country being the best. But of course, they don't want one group of people, one small group of people dictating what happens around the world. They're very much people who believe, each state, for instance, in the United States, each state should be able to govern their own people, and that we shouldn't have, the federal government telling each state what to do. So imagine, of course, a world government coming in and telling you what to do. They're not about that. The left is more accepting of this idea of a world government. They want to be able to, save the whole world, and they want to be able to end every pandemic and save and end poverty and all this stuff, which is great stuff. Don't get me wrong, but it's great intentions coming from people on the left, but the leaders and the higher ups that are in charge of this whole thing don't have our best interests. They don't. And I want to do more episodes talking about the globalist agenda, Agenda 31, and a bunch of stuff like that we're going to get into later. I'm going to have some guests on helping me explain all this stuff. It's a bunch of crazy stuff, but this is the Great Reset that has been trending. You can go look into it. There's going to be more information on the Great Reset, Agenda 31, all this stuff that you could find in documents if you use a search browser that's not Google, because Google likes to block a bunch of stuff and make sure you don't find certain things. But we have found ways to dig deeper and find documents that are more incriminating of these world leaders. So anyway, that's what it's about. Great Reset. We want to revamp capitalism, make sure that we equate outcomes financially. We want to be able to form a new world government. This is all said in the documents. www.weforum.org/great-reset is where you can find this. You can find more stuff about it. If you search on, what is it? I forget what the browser I use is called. It's DuckDuckGo or something like that. There's a lot of browsers you can use that don't block certain things. But www.weforum.org/great-reset. That's like the actual website. So it says revamp capitalism, New World Government, all on there. They're not hiding it. And that's what the whole Great Reset thing is. We'll talk more about Agenda 21. Agenda 21 or Agenda 31? I think it's Agenda 21, which is basically about another globalist agenda where they refer to humans as human resources. So that's going to be a fun episode that we'll have here soon. Now that that's out of the way, I do want to talk about what's going on in the longest election in history. Not yet. Al Gore versus Bush was still longer so far, but what's going on right now? There's been more and more evidence of voter fraud coming out every day. And one of Trump's lawyers, Sidney Powell, has been on it. She's been on TV every day talking about what's going on, as well as his, what's her name, McKinney, his White House press secretary, on it. But another thing that was trending was a quote by Trump's lawyer, Sidney Powell. And she hinted at something that's coming out, something that she wants to release. So I guess the quote she says that she's going to release the Kraken. That's like a big thing. Release the Kraken, unleash the Kraken. And people were like, well, what is she talking about? What's going on? And she started sharing new evidence every day, like I said, slowly but surely. Evidence of voter discrepancies. And the Kraken that she's referring to when she says release the Kraken, we looked into this, and basically the Kraken is a name of a software that is used, a very high-tech, powerful software that people tied to the Trump team were able to use in order to track and collect data on these people who were participating in voter fraud, these officials that are participating in voter fraud. Switching votes from Trump to Biden is now proven. Almost 3 million so far, 3 million votes were switched from Trump to Biden using the Dominion voting machines. So Kraken, they use it, the high-tech software, to track and collect data on who is committing voter fraud. They're saying this thing is so powerful that when they use it, it will briefly, shut down Google, briefly YouTube, something like that. It's very, very powerful software. And she's been getting on TV and Fox News, whatever, saying, I can't wait to expose these guys. I can't wait to expose every single person that has been involved in voter fraud in this election. We're going to expose every single one of them. She keeps saying it. Slowly but surely, they're releasing more data. They've got over 240 sworn affidavits now of people who, under the penalty of perjury, are claiming that they have witnessed some sort of voter discrepancy, voter fraud happening. This is in one county in Michigan. Over 240 sworn affidavits under penalty of perjury in one county. These people claim, I saw people, literally switching the votes from Donald Trump to Joe Biden, or people were filling in ballots as they were being counted, or someone said that their son who had died years ago voted in this election. A bunch of stuff going on. There's that. These Dominion machines, the Dominion voting machines, Dominion is a company. They were used in a good majority of the states in the election, including these swing states that are taking their sweet time to count all the votes, and these states where Biden's lead jumped up all of a sudden. But the Dominion voting machines are the same machines used in foreign elections, like in Venezuela when Chavez was elected. And Maduro, same thing. When President Maduro of Venezuela got elected, the other guy, whoever was running against him, he was winning, and then around 3 a.m. after everyone went to bed, the power went out, and then when it came back on 2 minutes later, Maduro was winning. They said that the same thing. Maduro, Chavez, rigged elections, all using these Dominion voting machines. And these machines are used in other countries around the world that are, Marxist countries, communist countries, basically dictatorships in a way, where they can rig elections and choose which party gets elected. And this is how they've been able to take over Venezuela and turn it into, a total communist regime. Because people, when Chavez was elected the first time, it's like, okay, maybe it's not that bad. And then it gets worse and worse. You think they're going to vote for this guy again? And then vote for Maduro afterwards? No. So if democracy was actually, a thing in Venezuela, Chavez would not have served a second term. Maduro would not be in office currently. And so these Dominion machines, literally, we have people coming out that worked for the company, that are executives or different positions in the company, saying this machine is built with a switch on the side. You can literally flip the switch and the votes coming in will go to a different candidate. Not making this up. But they're coming out saying it was designed for this purpose. It was designed to switch votes. It was designed to manipulate elections. These machines can, based on the history of voting, can predict what county, like this county specifically, is going to go red. And it shows all the counties that are going to go red, so you can manage where the votes are going to go. So we need this county, this county. These are heavy populated counties, so we can switch these votes to go towards Biden so he has an overwhelming majority in this county. Flip the states, like Georgia, Pennsylvania. Trump had a clear win, and all of a sudden, overnight, Biden caught up. And people argue mail-in ballots, but it's not the case. There's more and more evidence coming out. 3 million votes being switched from Donald Trump to Joe Biden total so far. And Trump's already at 72 million votes total. This could put him at 75 million and bring Biden back down. So we're still in the waiting game. We're waiting to see what happens in the coming days, in the coming weeks. And because people are saying, look, it's all great, but there's no way that you can completely overturn the election. Sidney Powell believes it. She believes full-heartedly we're fixing to overturn the election, is what she says. And that may be the case. That may not be the case. I think they can do it, personally. For instance, they found in Georgia recently, in one county, about 3,000 votes that someone forgot to put into the machine. It was on a flash drive, so to say. They're supposed to put it into the machine, and they never did that. Once they put these votes in, it gave Trump a plus 800 net in winning in that county. So, but let's say that doesn't happen. Let's say that he doesn't overturn the election results when it comes to the Electoral College and the votes and all that. There is a way. There's many ways for Trump to claim his second term. And this has happened twice now. So there's all these court cases going on right now. Pennsylvania, Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin. All these recounts going on. And the deadline to sort everything out is December 8th. And by December 8th, if this isn't sorted out, meaning if there is no clear, concise winner of the 2020 election, that means that the electors cannot cast their vote on December 14th. And what does that mean? It means that it has to go to Congress on January 6th after the new Congress is sworn in January 3rd. So let's say he stays in court. He's still in court by the 8th. There's no clear winner. He's contested all these states. It's like there's so much fraud going on. He's proven that there's millions of votes that are fraudulent and that there's no clear winner. They can't vote on the 14th. It goes to Congress. But this is all according to the 12th Amendment, too, in the Constitution. And according to that amendment, when they go and vote in Congress, it's not the 400 and something congressmen that vote. Each state gets one vote. And that vote is based on the state's majority. So if a state is majority Republican, then that state is one Republican vote. It automatically goes to the Republican candidate, vice versa, a Democratic stronghold. So say California is majority Democrat, meaning elected officials, Congress people. That vote automatically goes to Biden. And right now, currently, I believe it's Republicans are 30 and Democrats are 20 when it comes to states and the majorities. So as of now, it should automatically be 30 for Trump, 20 for Biden. And that would mean that Trump secures his second term. And this isn't far-fetched. Again, it's happened twice. So there's a lot of misinformation going on right now regarding this election. CNN, Fox, all the mainstream media is trying to censor what's going on when it comes to voter fraud. Absolutely censoring it. Twitter, big tech, censoring everything. And it's got to make you at least wonder what's going on, what's really going on. And when you look into it and you see all the voter discrepancies, the hundreds of people coming forward saying they've witnessed voter fraud, all this stuff, you start to realize that Trump may have a very good case here. And there's people, I know some of you are thinking, oh, they're throwing Trump's court cases out. And that's actually not true. Those cases that they're throwing out, those were individual cases coming from other people claiming that they saw voter fraud. So it's cases in Trump's favor, but it's not necessarily his court cases, the ones that he filed. And so all his cases, like in Pennsylvania, for example, they're all still going. None of them have been thrown out, despite what the news is telling you. And he's using the same arguments that the Bush team used in Al versus Gore. And so if in Florida, it would be like automatic agreeing with him. He would win that case. So it sets a precedent. So he's arguing this in Pennsylvania and other states and hasn't gotten thrown out yet, obviously. Trump's got best lawyers, hundreds of good lawyers. They know what's going on. They know how to, at the very least, keep this going until the 8th, the deadline. So people don't give him enough credit, really. And basically what I'm trying to say is that no matter what happens, he has a very good chance of securing a second term. He has multiple ways that he can do it. He has multiple safeguards. And it's actually more likely that he gains his second term if he continues on this path as opposed to Biden winning the presidency legitimately. So that's kind of an update of the craziness that's been going on in the election. A lot to unpack. And really, it's still the waiting game, seeing what happens, because every day new stuff comes out, and it's one side telling you this, one side telling you another thing, and I understand that. So there's going to be a clearer picture soon. We just have to wait for it. And we're, looking just less than a month away from that deadline, December 8th, December 14th, when they cast their vote, the electors cast their vote. So that's just a little update for you. I want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Gonzo Tonight Show. We'll be sure to keep you updated on the election as things come in and more evidence comes in, more updates and whatnot. And then, of course, we're going to get more into current events as they come in, as they happen, I guess. A lot of crazy stuff should be happening soon. The election is obviously one of the biggest things. COVID's kind of coming back now. Lockdowns and such. We'll be talking more about that. But thanks again for tuning in. Be sure to check out the merch at teespring.com/store/Gonzo Tonight. And feel free to support the show at buymeacoffee.com/Gonzo. We really appreciate all the support you've given us over the past year. And I hope you guys have a good one. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.